They're hanging off of the side of that thing. So if William Brown runs better than 677, he will put himself in and Mills out at least for now. That looks like it's going in. 6:14, 223 for Kenny. Not bad. Not better. William Brown goes 6:22 at 221. He is now 18. The bump spot is now Vaughn Caulfield at 6:68. Rick Mills just got bumped out, and Rick Mills is on the starting line right now. Remember a minute ago when I said Vaughn Caulfield might be in, but he's not comfortable? Well, he's really uncomfortable right now. Because Rick Mills is going to be pouring nitrous into that thing at whatever rate it takes to get him back in this field. Kenny Moses in the left side, and that is another nitrous ingesting 600 plus inch big block. He currently sits in the number 23 spot. Boom! 672 for Rick Mills. Kenny Moses had a flash out of the pipes down there, and from that point on he was coasting at 751. But Rick Mills just went 6.721 at 197, and that is not enough. Vaughn Caulfield still holds the bump spot at a 668, but he ain't out of the woods yet, because here comes Marty Williams in the left side, and Marty is not yet qualified, and Doug Forbes in the right side. Doug, who is sitting in the number 25 spot. Quick check top end of the racetrack, and we get the thumbs up from down there. Saw a flash out of the pipes, but no liquid out of the car, so good news for Moses. Marty Williams trying to sneak his way in. Doug Forbes trying to sneak his way up. Rick Caulfield on the bump at 668. That's the most important number on the planet to the driver in the left lane. .673, 193 miles an hour. Marty Williams makes his best run of the weekend, but it's not going to be enough. 684 for Doug Forbes. And you can tell from the time he hit the gas that something weird was going on with that car. It just didn't jump up on the tire like it had been. But he will remain for now in the number 25 spot. That'll bring up Bones, as he's known. Todd Ewing driving Dylan Haug's car. Okay, Mendy Haug's car. And Larry Strickland driving the Pro Charger machine over here on the right side. Strickland is in number 20. Bones is in number 12. And we just got a call from the top end to hold up a second. One of the cars came around the corner down there with something dripping out of the back of it, and that's why we've got folks down at the other end of the racetrack called down here and said, hold up a second, we need to take a look. And the inspection begins. Listen up in the pits. Oh, attention in the pits. Comp eliminator. Comp, final call. You should be here. Top Sportsman. Come on down. Stotts Ford, top sportsman, to the staging lanes, please. I believe if I'm hearing right in the background, we do have a little something down there that we're going to have to get cleaned up and squared away, so catch your breath. We'll let the top end safety team do what they need to do. We'll dive right back into it. Finish up qualifying at Hickory and closed top dragster. We got competition eliminator in the staging lanes. We better have, because we've got top sportsmen rolling in right behind them. How long since you heard Jay Giles? I'm so happy that I got my computer downloaded or uploaded or reloaded or whatever it was. How many people are online? Okay, I don't know if I want to tell that many people how stupid I am. Todd Ewing in the left lane. Larry Strickland in the right. Whoa, hang on, Todd. Wow. Nice save, Bones. 630 for Larry Strickland at 218 miles an hour. And did you see Todd out there pedaling that thing trying to save it? I mean, obviously if it goes over backwards, that's junk, but also if it slams back down, that's junk too. Man, that thing hiked the front end and headed to the right. And you could see he was working the throttle, trying to soft land it out there so it didn't destroy Dylan's car. I'm not saying that it ended up perfect, but I can promise you this, it could have ended up a whole lot worse. Strickland, by the way, was already in at 627. Ewing will stand on his earlier run. He'll stay in the field, and that'll bring up Larice and Larice. So we got a little father and son showdown going on here from the folks at Larice Motorsports Insurance down in Raceland, Louisiana. Dad got the better of the reaction timer. The kid got the better of the elapsed timer. You think they had a side bet on that? They were less than 1,000th of a second apart at the finish line. There was some kind of side bet. 613, 216 miles an hour for the kid. 617, 196 for Dad. Holden, still number one. We're getting down to the end, so that means top sportsman. Stotts Ford, top sportsman. I need you to the lanes, please. And competition eliminator, you need to already be here. Steve Furr left. Josh Duggins right. .616, 227 miles an hour for Steve Furr. .657, 201 miles an hour for Josh Duggan. They will both stay where they were, and that's in the field. Holden will stay number one. Vaughn Caulfield is on the bump spot. And this is the final car in category, so Vaughn, you made it. Also, Rick Mills is the number one alternate, and I am told that we have at least one car that's broke. And we are pushing Jeff Strickland back after the burnout as we speak. So I'm reasonably sure we're going to need at least one alternate. In top dragster, and I don't know what's wrong with Strick's car down there, but I mean, everything looked good on a burnout, and then it just wouldn't back up. There's nothing running out of it, so that's a good sign. And competition eliminator is now rolling into the water box. And comp eliminator has turned into a de facto test session for our factory stock showdown team. The way they're looking at Strickland's car down there leads me to believe that it might have like kicked the crank trigger off of it or something. Knowing Strick, he'll have what he needs to fix it. Comp eliminator qualifying. How low can you go? Tony Pontillo. B dragster automatic over there on the left side. For the folks at Don's Machine Shop. And in the right side, Jim Promozic. Now, Jim, that front engine B dragster automatic, these cars both run in the same category. There's no distinction between front engine and rear engine in comp. It's just weight, cubic inch, door car or dragster, induction type, transmission type. Put it all in a blender, and these cars both end up being B dragster automatics. Promozic in the right side has not gotten down the racetrack yet. He's knocked the tires off on both attempts. So he's sitting number 29 on the qualified sheet. Now, Pontillo hasn't exactly set the world on fire either. Whoa, Jim, where are you going? 698, 194 miles an hour for Tony. That's certainly better. Promozic's car got off the starting line, and that looked better. And then, man, that thing started hunting the center line. Looked like he was looking for a block. He certainly got a close look at a bunch of them. But he did keep it on his side of the field, 778, 123. And Promozic is going to go into eliminations as a bit of an unknown quantity since he hasn't been down a racetrack yet. I'll bring up Stig Olson. The A dragster automatic, front engine car with a 500 cubic inch power plant. And Steve Schumacher, who did not run yesterday. A little Cavalier with a 319, like Pro Stock Light, C Econo Altered. At 30 cars that have made an official attempt. Brad Plord sitting number 1 right now. And Stig Olson's car is still giving him fits. It's going to go 701 at 205 miles an hour, and man, where's he going? Steve Schumacher goes 844 at 133, and that car looked like it was drifting left, almost like a rudderless ship down there. That'll bring up the first of our factory stock super modified cars, also known as factory stock showdown testing. John Cerbone in the Copo, the brand new Copo with the supercharged 350. John Freck in the dragster, little 4-cylinder Pontiac. The fun thing about Comp is that they can find a home for just about anything. I mean, literally from a Pro Mod to a 4-cylinder, to a Subaru, to a Volkswagen, to a you name it, we'll find a home for it. And Comp is performance-based. In qualifying, run as far as you possibly can under the class index. In racing, the only thing that matters is getting a stripe first. It don't matter how fast you go. You just have to get a green light and get there first. Cerbone, the factory showdown Camaro. Yeah, you can't touch the car when it's staged, sir, even in Comp. Cerbone chatters the tires and the car hung a right. John Freck with a little 4-cylinder dragster. Just a humming and a buzzing on down there. 811, 163 miles an hour for Freck. He'll stand on his 801 yesterday. It is still ridiculously fast out there. Just heard from Chris Monahan down at Houston Raceway Park, Baytown, Texas. They've got 500 feet below sea level for a drag radial event that they're having this weekend. It's just like great racing weather everywhere in the country. Down to the stripe, James Promozic. 719, 177 miles an hour. That's the first time he's been down the track in the B altered. And Jesse Alexandra went 790 at 167 miles an hour in his factory showdown car, and that was better than yesterday. So we continue to make steps in the right direction over there. Next up is going to be Doug Hamp in the red Copo, and Ed Federkow. Ed, who lives here in Florida, works as a firefighter and banners the folks at Strutmasters and E3 spark plugs on his Hemi-powered B-altered automatic. Well, it looks like we got blowers and mops down there, and I'm guessing a little intercool leakage out of the showdown car. Just a guess. That would be Federkyle. And that's Doug Hamp. Since the samtech.edu factory stock showdown is going to kick off its season right here next week, a number of the teams wanted to do a little testing. I know in years past they've gone to Bradenton or they've gone to South Georgia. And a bunch of them just decided, you know what? We got to go to Gainesville anyway. Why don't we just go a week early and race the baby Gators? They can be classified either as a comp eliminator car or as a super stock car, and we've actually got some in each. But that's why you're seeing so many of the showdown cars out here playing comp eliminator. Hamp on the left side, the Copo Camaro. Ed Federkyle on the right side. That is a former Pro Stock Dodge. Now running with a Nickens Hemi and an automatic transmission. $688 for Federkyle. Wow, $688, $201 for Federkyle. That is getting it. Ed Federkyle goes 73 under the index, and by 0.005 of a second, he goes to the top. Doug Hamp goes 819 and 137. He didn't run that thing, obviously, all the way to the stripe. But Federkyle just took the Hemi to the number one spot. 73.8 under the index. And here's Pat Ross. The Grand Am. F altered. It's got a little bitty small block. Clutchless 5-speed. He's got Michael Burrill in the right lane. That is a 4-cylinder Pontiac dragster, the F Econo model. Michael just went in and double bulbed, and he's getting a crash course in not double bulbing, since that's not legal in the Lucas categories. Looks like a rather extended discussion there, but I think we're all ready to go now. At least I hope we are. Well, I know I'm ready. .792, 170 mile an hour. Pat Ross improved. Burrell also picks up a couple of hundo. Patrick Ross moves up to the number 3 spot. 711 under the index. Burrell picks up a little bit of performance, but not enough to change his place on the ladder. And now it's Robert Bailey with that single 4-barrel big block rocket ship, and Wendell Howes who is doing a little testing here this week, kind of like the factory showdown cars. There is a category in comp for your basic super stock Hemi. And that is one really nice 426 Hemi, 1968 Barracuda. Woodburn, Oregon checking in, 751 feet below sea level. My density altitude is better than your density altitude. It's just a great weekend for racing all over the country. Bailey goes 6:57, 2:04. Exactly what he ran yesterday. Wendell goes 8:85, and when you can see the speed's only 128 miles an hour, you know he didn't hold that one all the way down. All the way down. So Wendell will stand on his 8:55 from yesterday. Bailey actually picked up a thou. Ed Federkyle showing everybody the way right now for the number one qualifying spot. And now it's Richard Mace and Van Puckett. Mace in that Pontiac Grand Am. Just waiting for him to clear the top end of the racetrack, and I believe we're good to go now. And Van Puckett, your reigning champ. And the Cavalier out of Georgia. Richard Mace flying the nose of that former Grant Lewis car. Whatever happened to Grant Lewis? 795, 153 miles an hour for Van Puckett. He's not going to improve. 909 at $152 for Richard Mace with a big wheel stand. Grant Lewis is a lot of fun. He's our favorite lovable lumberman. Now it's Pete Diagnolo. And the Orange Cobalt, Randy Daniels. Got a note from somebody yesterday that said, how come you never mentioned Randy's dad? If I've been neglecting that, I apologize. Garley Daniels, who is a longtime engine builder, horsepower guru, and tell you go back in the days of modified eliminator, the early days of pro stock, he made as much horsepower as anybody. Still racing with his son and Robert Durden. Randy's in the right side, Pete Diagnolo in the left side. Down from New York. Super modified with a clutch in the right, super modified with a converter in the left. Daniels looked like his car cranked the tire a little bit when he dropped that pedal. And now it looks like Pete's off the throttle. 897, 120 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, both of them in coast mode down there at the finish line. 897, 120 for Randy Daniels. 1038 at 88 miles an hour for Pete. They'll stay where they were. We'll see these cars in eliminations later on in the day. Final call, Stott Ford, Top Sportsman. If you're not here, you're late. Top Sportsman, final call. You should be in the lanes. Frank Affronte for 104 Contractors and Greg Camplain. Out of Mount Comfort RV. Camplain in the dragster. With a little small block. Affronte in the E altered automatic. $693, $189. Camplain. That's exactly what he ran yesterday. 765, 176. Affronte is going to pick up. He'll make the front page now. 61 under the index. If you want to be in the quick 16, you got to run 56 under. You want to be in the quick 8, you got to run 64 under. If you want to be the man, you got to outrun Ed Federkyle. And it's Jimmy Daniels in the Hemi car. And Danny Holt in the Escort. Jimmy Daniels with that flagship from Ray Barton Racing Engines up in Pennsylvania. Been kind of ruling the roost in the Hemi Challenge the last couple of years out there in Indy. And Danny Holt from Clinton, Tennessee. 8:18, 163 miles an hour for Danny, 8:37 for Jimmy Daniels. Now, Jimmy did not get down the racetrack yesterday, and he just put himself on the front page, 57 under the index, to go to the number 1 spot, or the number 16 spot. Not the number 1 spot. He'd have to go way quicker than that. Now it's Jimmy Kimbrough in the dragster. C. Econo. That thing absolutely has got the narrowest track of anything on the property. West Leopold, out of the Arlington Auto Center in Pennsylvania, that Dodge Stratus supermod car. And Kimbrough, contractor from here in Florida, currently sitting in the number 4 position, 7/10 under the index, and he's 4th. Kimbrough's car really got up on the tire at the step at this end. He goes 7:30 at that end, 158 miles an hour, 789, 154 for West Leopold. And now we have Gary Wolkowitz in his Hemi car, and Leah Pruitt in her Hemi car. 426, that's the 2nd generation Hemi. The 354, that's the 3rd generation Hemi. Leah, of course, got a blower on that car because that's her factory stock showdown machine. The one that won the championship a couple of years ago. So Wolkowitz in the Dart, Leah in the Challenger. .804 for Leah, 145. Think she had that thing floored at the stripe? 832 for Wolkowitz, 157. And Wolkowitz, 62 under the index, is going to make himself number 11 now. Up next is Tony Terry as we get down toward the end of the category, and I hope that means that all of our top sportsman cars are here. Because we got a couple of comp singles, and then it's going to be final qualifying in Stott Ford Top Sportsman. Tony Terry, the Virginia-based Cobalt, F-altered automatic, eases his way up into the beams. See Tom Martino down there on the starting line, even though he is not competing nearly as actively as he used to, still in the horsepower and engine building business. Out here, taking care of his customers. What's he throwing Kleenex out of it down there? 812 at 167 miles per hour. And now it's Brad Plord and David Eaton. Brad Plord, who just got bumped out of the number 1 spot. Let's see if this wild and crazy AA altered on methanol's got enough to get back in. So, here's a question for you. How overpowered do you want your altered? You can go with the ridiculously overpowered. David Eaton has a 500-inch Pro Stock style engine from Gray Motorsports. Or you can go with the obnoxiously overpowered Brad Plord car that has a blown, de-stroked Brad Anderson Hemi. The AA altered on methanol in the left side, and the A altered automatic in the right. This actually should be a decent race. I mean, they are both solid 6-second players. Brad Plord has got the faster car all the way out to the stripe, but still. If David even makes a full pull, he's going to run like 640 something and still watch a guy drive away from him. .617 at 216 miles an hour for Brad Plord, and he goes right back to the top. 76 under the index. And Eaton goes 717, shutting off at 128 miles an hour. But Brad Plord, man, that thing's mean. Speaking of mean, here comes the champ again. Third time in his career, Frank Aragona. That Ken Care built 300 inline 6-cylinder billet Schlocko Dart. That thing's crazy. It's like if you just had a chunk of aluminum and said, what's the best way we can make a 6-cylinder engine? That's what they did. 53 under the index, he's 20th. Sounded like it fluttered out there. 745 at 177 for Aragona, and he'll put himself on the front page in the number 14 spot. But Brad Plord stole the pole back from Ed Federkyle, who tried to steal it from him. Pat Ross third, Jim Kimbrough fourth, Randy Daniels, Van Puckett, Wes Leopold, David Eaton, a quick 8. John Freck is 57.7 under the index, and that just barely got him on the front page. We've got Stott Ford, top sportsman in final qualifying, rolling out now. We got Warren Evans stepping up to the microphone.
Thank you, Alan Reinhart. Final qualifying coming up for the Stotts Ford top sportsman cars. We do have a bump on the board. That's a 763 down there. And that is being held down by Ken Wells right now. A couple folks on the outside trying to get in. See how much we get shuffled around here before we go into first round of eliminations later on today. Jackie Rosen, left side of the track. Nitrous assisted. 755 cubic inch big block Chevy power for the runner out of Greer, South Carolina. That car is gorgeous. If you walk up and take a look to it. Those dark, deep reds, multi-layered on there. Just a gorgeous car. Kendall Barnes alongside. 2004 Grand Am over on the right-hand side for the tire dealer out of Brunswick, Georgia. Barnes down towards the bottom of the sheet right now with a 762. I'm sure he'd like to improve. Jackie Robeson. Make a nice straight pass yesterday. Climb all the way to the number 6 spot. Does not improve here, 669 and 207. He'll stay number 6, Kendall Barnes, 755 at 180. That is a better pass, his best pass of the weekend. He'll remain number 31. Scott Underwood, the 565 boat and storage, RV storage Camaro, left side. That's the Chevy. The Ford right side, Brian LaFlamme. Pro-charged, Brad Anderson powered, 67 Mustang. Swoopy race car over here on the right, your number 1 qualifier, 624 at 231. Setting the speed and the ET mark for the category. Might even be a little room for improvement there. Attention in the pits. We need Super Street to the lanes, please, for round number 1. Super Street to the lanes, please, for round number 1 of eliminations. Super Street, the 1090 cars. We need you to the lanes, please, to get you lined up and paired up for round number 1 of eliminations. Straight as a string for LaFlamme. A little puff down there before he got to the finish line. 6:28 at 2:22. Only off by 400ths there. 7:26 for Underwood. No improvement there as well. He'll stand on his 7:25 from yesterday. Mark Miles, Flintstone, Georgia, the home. Little Nova 2, left side of the track. That's the Lucas lane. Budweiser side, John Taylor. For Wright Trailers, the nitrous boosted 99 Dodge Dakotas, big block Chevy power, holding up the hood scoop there on the pickup truck. Taylor very close to the 6s, 7:02 best from yesterday. Miles, 7:35's got him on the qualifying sheet at number 27. Once again, Super Street to the lanes, please, for round number 1. Super Street Eliminator to the lanes, please, for round number 1. Miles is staged and ready. Taylor eases in. Taylor, good looking pass over here on the right hand side. 7:03, very consistent. It is a bracket race. 7:03.0 for John Taylor. For Mark Miles, he falls off a little bit down there, 8:23. Off the throttle at 1:21. Two more coming at you right now. It's Kirk Frederick. Frederick left side, Burlington, Wisconsin, his 68 Camaro. Single digit car there, number 4 in the world last year in Top Sportsman. David Tatum alongside the Fire Aid S10 pickup truck out of Palmetto, Georgia. With the former Super Gas world champion over on the right. Getting sorted out there, checking wheelie bars and such. Now they'll pull up into the beams. Having to drive that thing. Made a hard left, gathers it up, 6:72. Best pass of the weekend, 6:72 at 2:08. David Tatum, 7:12. That's one off of the 7:11 from yesterday. 190 for the speed, so Tatum stays number 21, and Kirk Frederick stays number 7. Ken Wells, Illumina backing up over here left side of the track from Orlando. Not sure if it is, but it looks like the Lumina that Scott Wasco used to campaign out of Ohio. Scotty Wasco changed seats last year and picked up the GXP from Tony Fagnelli. Fagnelli then bought him a Copo. Here's Ken Wells with his Lumina. Tyrone Graham. Graham on the outside. No time on the sheet yesterday. So from our vantage point, it looks like Mr. Graham is pointed right. We'll see soon enough. Ken Wells, 799. Tyrone Graham, if the car's still running, don't touch the car. Don't touch the car. Oh, no. Well, he got to the finish line. If you want anything good out of that run, he got to the finish line. Nothing good about that. Well, that's good news. First radio report dry at the first gate. We'll eyeball that car, make sure it's not dripping or leaking anything, but let's see. So it didn't go, and then 15 seconds later it did go, and then it stopped. Then it did go again and went hard left. Wheels in the air, comes down, stabs it, goes hard right, stabs it, goes straight. About 900 feet out, the smoke decided it didn't want to be in there anymore. Started puffing there about 900 feet. Crossed the finish line. So a 950. At least he's got a time ticket with numbers on it. But as that was the third qualifying shot, he sits number 34 right now. And really Tyrone's only opportunity to get in the field is if we have some breakage and we need some alternates, which could, of course, happen. But still awaiting a report from the top end before we send anybody down. Got the red lights flashing on the quad down there. Super Street. If you're not in the lanes, we need you to head that way. Super Street, round number 1 coming up. Super Streeters. If you want to head this way, we'll get you lined up and get you set for first round of eliminations. So the little flashy lights turn from red to green. That's a good sign. Get the quad cleared off the track and get set to bring you the next pair. Nick Rabin, Marty Blair coming up now. Rabin left side for Rock Batteries, the GTO. Marty Blair right side, the runner out of Spicewood, Texas. That Flame 96 Corvette. Rabin in the 6s last night with that 696 pass at 195. For Marty Blair, his Corvette gradually improving last night. 734, the best pass of the weekend for Marty Blair. As we get set to set the ladders here. A little nitrous kick for both cars as they get set to line up here. Rabin and Blair. improving by 001. That's okay. Get that out of the system. 699, 194 stays in the sixes. And Raven will stand on his 696 from yesterday. 736 for Marty Blair. A little slower than yesterday afternoon as well, so he will remain number 26 on the qualifying sheet. Now it's Tommy Turner, left side, out of Naples, Florida. Tommy could tell us if they're still doing the swamp buggy races down there. Naples, his hometown. That's where swamp buggy racing world capital is at. Fred Perkins, Fast Freddy, right side. The JNE Construction Solutions 57 Bel Air. Low slung. Looks fast, just sitting still. 57 Bel Air. Fred Perkins, 798 cubic inches. Tommy Turner just looks over and chuckles a little bit. Pontiac power plant. Turner to the stride first, 656 and 215. Fred Perkins, 679. He'll improve. He goes to number 11 on the sheet. Tommy Turner. His best pass of the weekend, he'll stay number 5. Now it's time for a little green split window Corvette. The 63 Vet over here on the left for Mark Roberts. Roberts from Orange Lake, Florida. He's alongside Jeff Brooks, number 2 out of Division 1 last year. A little nitrous purge there as everything getting lined up and set for the Kaiser compressor Henry J. JEB4 Racing. Brooks whomps the throttle, gets off of it. Good looking 006 start. He's out of power at the finish, 917 at 111. Mark Roberts goes 710 with a 0 at 191. Slide up to the 21 position. That's an improvement. In fact, they will be 20 and 21 on the qualifying sheet when it comes race time, as they both went 7-10-0. Brooks better on speed. He'll get the higher position. This is Norm Williams coming at you now. Williams out of Yulee, Florida. That is the white Cobalt. Tyler Kahele alongside. That is the Anvil Gray Cavalier. You ever see a Kahele race car? That's the color you're going to see. They're in love with that Anvil Gray color and put it on everything they send down a racetrack. Haven't seen George on the racetrack in a while. Tyler, plenty of stuff to campaign. And for Kahele, 689 at 197. He'll improve. He goes to the number 15 slot, 754 for Norm Williams. No improvement there. So 748 will get him on the qualifying sheet as a number 28. Lester Johnson and Joe Rubicek. Next out of the water box. And for Lester, Brad Anderson, Hemi Power, 55 Chevrolet. When he was pro-charged, that car could easily dip down into the 5-second zone. My understanding, he's trying out a new setup. Twin turbo combination there for the 55. Joe Rubicek, nothing new there. It's just a lot of motor and a whole lot of blue bottle helping to feed oxygen to it. Rubicek out of Camarillo, California. 68 Camaro. From the West Coast, but loves racing on this side of the country. Johnson, number 9 in the world last year. So both of them shut it off early. Rubicek saw a puff about 900 feet. He slows to a 746 at 121. Lester Johnson 720 at 141. Neither one with the pass that they were looking for. Now it is time for Ronald Regal. The Camaro over here on the left side of the track. The Regal Racing Engine 68 Camaro. Dylan Stott alongside for Stotts Ford. The title sponsor, Stotts Ford Top Sportsman here in the category. Ron Regal, 689, his best pass of the weekend so far. He's looking to improve on that. For Dylan Stott, sits in the number 3 spot with a 653. So, quick check down there on the racing surface. Got the reds on out there, and so we are holding right now. Want to make sure everything is good to go before we send the next pair down. Looks like quad down there on the past the finish line. So we are on hold for just a minute. In the meantime, Jeff Sutherland and Greg Lair sit in the water box right now. Dylan Stott, Ron Regal sit on the starting line. And as soon as we get the all clear, we'll be back to action. Looks like we've cleared the top end. And with that, thumbs up from the starter. Ford Chevy matchup coming at you right now. Regal's Camaro and Dylan Stott's all Ford Mustang over on the right. And Nitrous, the power adder of choice here in the category. Super Street, we need you to the lanes for round number 1. Super Street, to the lanes, please, for round number 1. If you're not there, we need you now. Ron Regal, 002 on the tree, left second. Dylan Stott, 001 on the tree, 652 at 212. He improves by just a tick. Stays number 3, but a 652 at 212, his best pass of the weekend. For Ron Regal, 689.8 at 200 miles an hour. Got it in bracket mode as that's 2 689s back to back. Jeff Sutherland, the Oldsmobile Cutlass, over here on the left-hand side. Lucas Lane out of Andover, Illinois. Greg Lair hustling back from the burnout right now. Arrow. Linko behind the power plant there. Sunset Racing Enterprises, 903 cubic inches. All motor for Greg Lair. Over on the right. Super Streeters, if you're not back there, we need you. Round number 1 coming up. We are aware of a little PA problem out there, and we are working on it. See if we can get that fixed up for you as quick as we can. Greg Lair gets her a little bit crossed up. He steps off the throttle. He had a good view of the stickers on the right-hand wall there. He'll ease it off, and 10:19 at the finish line at 87 miles an hour. Greg Lair will not improve. Jeff Sutherland, 7:54 at 178. No improvement there as well. But for Greg Lair, great driving job there just to keep it off of the wall and keep it shiny for the round number 1. Next up, number 1 in the world last year, your defending NHRA Top Sportsman Champion. It's the Sand Flea. Sandy Wilkins out of North Carolina. Sponsor of the Wilkins Wheels and Wrenches Challenge. Horsepower builder. For many years, developed his skill set at Roush Yates. Now got his own shop, building power plants for racers all over the country. Sandy Wilkins, left side. The Sand Flea, purging the nitrous there. Michelle behind the car. Mike Coble being pushed off right now. Got a little bit of fluid out of the car. It's shut off on the starting line. He'll be pushed out of the way in the meantime. Sandy Wilkins will get the single here. Wilkins will make the single lap here. That's a little more better for Sandy. Did not have a number on the sheet before. How about a 675 this time around at 205 for Sandy Wilkins. And that will slide him into the number 8 position with that 675. So he is on the sheet. We'll see him in round number 1 as he will start the defense of his Top Sportsman World Championship. Chadrick Morrison, Rick Mills, wait behind the water box. A little bit of cleanup happening over here in the Budweiser lane. Super Street. You're not in the lanes, we need you. Super Street, we need you in the lanes. Get you paired up and ready to go for round number 1. So it looks like a little rotate and broom here for the right-hand lane before we send Mr. Rick Mills down track. Chadrick waiting patiently here in the 57 Bel Air.
If you're a new car dealership principal, service manager, or parts manager, turn to the source dealers trust, Service Department Solutions. With over 40 years of industry experience, the SDS team will help you improve your processes and increase your profits. They will work with you to improve sales and service processes, training, and customer retention rates, and help you work with your manufacturer to secure increases in parts and labor reimbursements that you're entitled to. In some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars left on the table. Service Department Solutions helps dealerships nationwide, and they can help you too. No upfront fees, no hassles, and no risk. Call them today at 412-651-2356 or visit them online at servicedepartmentsolutions.com. Service Department Solutions, the source dealers trust.
Mosier Engineering has been racing across 4 decades with 3 generations, and we are proud to be an official NHRA sponsor here today. Everything we make, from our rear ends, axles, suspension, and even our brakes, are made with one goal in mind: so you can finish first. We offer standard 2-day turnaround on custom axles, housings, and center sections. Visit us on the web at mosierengineering.com or call and talk to our knowledgeable and friendly technicians. Remember, whether you are a weekend enthusiast or a serious racer, Mosier Engineering has the highest quality made in the USA products for all of your extreme street and racing applications. Finish first with Mosier Engineering.
Racers, when it is time for your next race trailer, built the way you want without compromise, look no further than Vintage Trailers. Troy Stone and the entire Vintage team has been in the custom race car trailer business for over 27 years, and for over 22 years racing alongside you using the products they build and sell. Vintage Trailers can put you in exactly the right equipment, whether it's with living quarters, bath facilities, traditional rig, or a stacker. With over 24 designs in-house or built to your specifications. No matter what the need for you, your team, or your entire race operation, Vintage Trailers has what you need. Just look for the slime green rig at the next race to see the quality Vintage manufactured custom stacker, or check them out on the web at vintagetrailers.com. Vintage Trailers, quality by design. I want to give a special shout out to TJ Tyndall and Tyndall Motorsports, Tyndall Trucking for Drag Racer TV. They are the presenting sponsor for live streaming coverage here in the Southeast Division this year. Big thanks to them. Tyndall Trucking out of Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. TJ not here this weekend. I think he's trying to get geared up. He's been running Super Comp and Super Gas, but has a top dragster under construction and trying to put the final touches on that. So we'll hope to see him out real soon. But on behalf of DragRacer.tv, greatly appreciate the support of Tyndall Trucking, the presenting sponsor for Drag Racer TV this year in the NHRA Southeast Division. Also like to welcome this year Weldon Pumps, the Weldon Performance family. If you have a chance, stop by and take a look at their new 16,000 series pumps. A variety of fuel pumps available. Aircraft quality engineering. Highly reliable, great fuel flow. Sales and service. Keep you racing on the track. If you want to find out more about it, go to the website, weldonperformance.com. Weldon Performance, a new sponsor this year for DragRacer.tv, joining us for the national tour this year. So Jim Craig, if you haven't met Jim, stop by and see Jim. I think there are awnings out there in the pit area. If you haven't stopped to see him, please do so. They'll be happy to take care of you. Also, JKR Racing Products, Jeff Kondratik out there, your Lucas Oil dealer here in the Southeast Division. But along with that, he's got a wide variety of race-related products with sales, service, installation, recertification of your Hans device or your helmet, whatever it is you're looking for to keep you on track or get you on track. Stop by and see Jeff Kondratik, JKR Racing Products. Well, this is a good sign. Not farming for traction anymore. Got the rotator off the track there. Putting a little water in the water box. So we will be close. Firing up our next pair of cars here, Chadrick Morrison and Rick Mills, as we get down towards the end of the Stotts Ford Top Sportsman qualifying final session here. Next time you see these Top Sportsman cars on the track, it'll be round number 1 later on. Morrison left side, that is the white 57, hustling back from the burnout. And then coming back in a real hurry, that is the Oldsmobile Forenza for Rick Mills. Mills from Arcadia, Florida, the SAJ Racing Engine Firenza. Mills sits in the first bulb, waiting patiently. Chadrick gets set to pull in. There he is. Mills is in, Morrison in. Show the button, away they go. Morrison makes a hard right just past the 60-foot block. He wisely clicks it off. In the meantime, Rick Mills 722 at 192. How about back-to-back 722s for Rick Mills? Chadrick Morrison, 12:03 off the throttle, 68 miles an hour at the finish line. Chadrick 678 will position him for race day. Crazy Ed Foley out of the water box right now. Blue Oval Power for the 2018 Mustang over here on the left for the runner out of Warminster, Pennsylvania. David Miller, Canterbury, Connecticut, the home. So these two will race each other on a regular basis up north. But here they are down south. A pair of Division I runners. So a little movement down there just past the quarter-mile mark with our safety equipment. Quick track inspection. Now they ease their way off the track. We'll close the gate down there. We'll be ready to go with Ed Foley and David Miller. Crewman turns around to the right side a little less 10, make sure that door is closed. Talk about blowing the doors off. We don't mean literally blow the doors off. There we go. We didn't move it. You just can't find it. Ford and Chevy side by side. A little wiggle there for the Mustang. He steps off the throttle. 681 at 200 miles an hour. For David Miller, no improvement there. Just 679 from yesterday. Positions him number 11. Foley off the throttle to an 892. So his 687 from yesterday leaves him number 14. Here's Derek Brown out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Brown Motorsports Pro Charged 2014 Camaro SS. And I'm told you probably want to put your earplugs in for this one. It's going to get loud here in a second for this door slammer. As we will shut him off, we had a report of something on the track just past the finish line over here on the Lucas Oil side of the track, so we'll get that picked up and straightened up, and then we will move back to our positions and send Mr. Derek Brown down track. I believe this is his first pass of the weekend. So he has not yet recorded a time. But with Pro Charged Power, he has the capability of being a top half player. He will hurry his way back here, get lined up. Try to put his name on the qualifying sheet here. 755, the bump spot up on the board. I have a feeling he's got a shot to get in. Super Street should all be over there. We're just about ready for you here. 1090 cars, round number 1 coming up. That looks like a fun ride out there, that Camaro. Move around a little bit left and right, no worries there. A little puff at the finish line, 631 at 221. Not sure if it was fully underpowered at the finish line, but I can tell you, it's number 2 right now after qualifying. 631 at 221 for the Pro Charged Camaro. Johnny Brooks comes up now, the Tennessean, and his little Chevy 2. He's on the outside. He's going to have to make a big jump. He's going to need 4/10 to be knocking on the door, getting in the field. The bump 790, or excuse me, 752. His best a 792. So, got a lot of work to do to try to get in the field. We'll make sure everything is good to go before we send Mr. Brooks down. Y'all saw that puff of smoke down there at about 1,100 feet. So, all clear at the top end of the track. Johnny Brooks getting set to pull forward and put it in the beams here. And he will try to make his way into the 32 car field. Right now, number 35 with that 792. Going to have to find a lot of performance all at once. And for Johnny Brooks, still sits in the beams. Still has a chance. And you can hear it kind of bogging down there at the finish line. He's not going to find the performance he's looking for. 783 at only 140 miles an hour. The good news, that's his best pass of the weekend. The bad news is not even close to try to get him into the field. So Johnny Brooks will be sitting on the sidelines this weekend. 783, not going to get it done. Donald Preece. The Preece's Automotive. 1994 Beretta. Big block Chevy Power for the runner out of Meriden, Connecticut. As if my eyes do not deceive me, this will be the final car. Stocks Ford Top Sportsman. Preece gets over by the center line. He wisely clicks it off. 951 at 90 miles an hour. So that's 714 from earlier. Gets him in the field, number 25. So with that, our 32 car field is set in Top Sportsman. Brian LaFlamme, your top qualifier, 624 at 231. In the Pro Charged Mustang, Derek Brown, 631. In the Pro Charged Camaro, then it's Greg Lair, Dylan Stott, Joe Rubicek, Tommy Turner, Paul Robeson, and Kurt Frederick, your top 8 in the 32 car field. And with that, Super Street coming at you, the 1090 cars. Round number 1, 2 go down, 1 comes back. And to tell you all about it, here's Mr. Alan Reinhart.
Thanks, Warren. 2 goes down and 1 comes back tomorrow. Yeah. 1 comes back tomorrow. That's when round 2 is, tomorrow. Fun pair to start with, Lamar Stevenson, one of the big hitters in this part of the country in the Camaro, and David Clark, who's got just like the super cool truck. We are racing for real, and it is over for real. David Clark, red lights by 1,000th of a second. 001 red, throws away a 1091. Lamar goes dead on 5 at 126 miles an hour with an 040 bulb and gets the win. A thou. 1 stinking thou. Now it's Eddie Swearingen and Cue Ball Laddie. Cue Ball out of Jessup, Georgia. He's in the right lane. Ed out of Reynolds, Georgia, home of Silver Dollar Raceway. Well, ugh. The first one was decided on a red light on the starting line. The second one was decided. You got to be kidding me. Cue Ball Laddie goes 10,900 and wins with a 282 reaction time. Ed Swearingen goes 007, takes a train length at the stripe, and breaks out. Wow. Well, that's why you race them 13-20. What did I say last night? Give yourself a green light and give yourself a chance. Kenny Dickerson, Mark Smith. That was in class eliminations, by the way. The attorney gets the win via the red light. Kenny Dickerson goes 003. R-E-D. And he is out of here. 1085 for Smith, 180 miles an hour. Come on. Really? 1078, 142 for Kenny. Charlie Owens now and Kevin McNichol. Charlie's in the Ventura. I know, you thought it was a Nova, huh? McNichol is in the Firebird. You knew that was a Firebird, right? Okay, just asking. Just asking. 1094 beats a 1097. Charlie Owens goes 129 miles an hour and gets the W. They're 5 thou apart in reaction time. Playing the game down at the finish line, and Charlie Owens goes 1094 at 129. And that's a winner. Dwayne Dulesky now in the Oldsmobile and Ed Pauley. The 406 powered, small block, 68 Camaro. We're doing it for real. That's why you're not seeing reaction times down on the scoreboard right now. But no. We're seeing a lot of red. I'm seeing red. And that's because Dwayne Dulesky jumped early. It's red light left side, win light right side. Ed Pauley, 1087, 140 miles an hour. 1091 at 102 for Dwayne Dulesky. But he ended that race 17 thousandths of a second before it was supposed to start. Next up is Bruce Burnson in the Ford. Dave Palancina in the Pontiac. 69 Firebird on one side, 70 Mustang on the other. And they are both hard on the throttle stop right off the starting line. Turn them loose now and charge down that way. The Mustang's out in front. The Firebird trying to catch. Not gonna catch. 003 1091 for Bruce, and that was way more than Dave could deal with. 1096 at 150 miles an hour, and he comes up on the wrong end of that one by a sizable margin. That'll bring up Charles Aldrich, 73 Camaro, Gen 2, and Scott Fifield in the Ventura. The Bob Steele car out of Cocoa, Florida, over there on the right side. Locked, loaded, ready, and away they go. These two are side by side all the way down the stripe. Who's going to make the right decision at the finish line? It's going to be Scott. He dove and won. 1101, 129 miles an hour, feeding the stripe to Aldrich. Aldrich goes 1084 at 132. They were dead side by side at the 8th mile, and Fifield just got down there and fed Aldrich the stripe. Now it's Steve Town in the Dodge, and Tony Johnson in the Monte Carlo. The license-plated Monte Carlo and the for-sale Dodge. Oh, and this one's over on the starting line. Tony Johnson jumped way too soon. Anytime your reaction time starts with a 1, more often than not, your time ticket's going to start with an L. And when you're red with a reaction time that starts with a 1, that's like you just didn't even want to play. Steve Town goes 1089 at 128 miles an hour, and he had that one won before he moved. I'll take blue Chevrolets for 500, Alex. And the answer is the Ocala tire dealer in the left side is Mike Griggs, 72 Camaro. Chip Rollins in the right side. Chip, who put one together here earlier today, watch that wagon leave the starting line. This thing is violent. That thing curls over, picks up one wheel, kicks open the glass hatch. Let me tell you something. If you went and got the kids' ice cream in that thing, you'd be cleaning it up off the carpet because it'd be all over the place. 1094 for the win, 130 miles an hour for Griggs, and he won it on the starting line. Chip Rollins was a little bit late, and then 1093 was not good enough. That'll bring up Wayne Kelly in the Beretta. And Marty Hindsight. 88 Fox Body Ford. It's got a 5-liter. I'm guessing that it's got a little more oomph than the classic 5-liter it left with. Another red light start. This time the number's 006, but the color's red. And for Wayne Kelly, finished for the weekend. 1088, 152 miles an hour after the red light start. Marty goes 1097. Marty goes 126. Marty will come back and race some more tomorrow. Victor Adams now, 89, Formula Firebird. And Dave Hellergill, that is a sweet Chevelle. I mean, really sweet. It's got a 505-inch motor in it, just like when it left the factory. What would have been the biggest motor in a Chevelle in 1964? It's got to be 327, right? And now it's got, well, not quite double that, but a bunch. The question is, does it have enough to catch Victor at the finish line stripe? And the answer is no. A perfect 3 zeros on a reaction timer for Victor. And then Dave couldn't run the number, and Victor backed into him. Did a nice job at this end. Actually, did a perfect job at this end. And then backed off the throttle at that end to stay on the safe side at 1096, only 114 miles per hour. Now it's Bruce Girton in the Fairmont and Jason Bader in that 1970 SS Chevelle. That is one big hunk of Chevrolet over there out of Boynton Beach. The Fairmont, also based here in Florida. So we got a Ford versus Chevy matchup on the outside. We got a Chevy versus Chevy matchup under the hood. We've got a Floridian versus Floridian matchup as far as under the helmet goes. And, well, it's pretty much like this. Jason couldn't run the number, and Bruce backed into him. 11:28 for the win, 130 miles an hour. 11:29 for Jason, who was well back. And Bruce does a nice job down there, just kind of pacing him across and staying on the right side of the math. Randy Whitener now in his Little Red Corvette. You know, they write songs about Little Red Corvettes. I don't believe anybody's ever written a song about a Volvo station wagon. Somebody might have, but I haven't heard it. Ricky Miller on the right side in the Olds Cutlass, the old Hurst Olds. And that thing still, like, lists very heavily to port. Well, the Cutlass doesn't quite do the Rollins station wagon rollover on the back tire, but it was close. Ended up with the same result, however, down at the finish line. Better on the bulb was Whitener. 1099 on the track was Whitener. Ricky Miller missed a tree and missed the number, and that is game, set, and match. Brian Funderburk. V8 Vega. You know, back in the day, I'm not sure when I turned into the old guy. I remember when I was the punk, and now I look at everybody that works around me, and I go, what a bunch of punks. But back in the day, it was V8 Vegas and 27T Fords that ruled the roost. Well, this V8 Vega just left early by 0.03 of a second. Alexis Whittaker goes 1086 on 137 miles an hour. Alexis doesn't remember back in the day when V8 Vegas and 27T Fords ruled the roost because she wasn't born yet. But she gets the automatic W here via the red light for Funderburk, even though she runs 1086 at 137. Now it's Dan Dobson in the Monza out of Bear Archery and Alan Cremo in the unbelievable Gremlin. 72 Gremlin. I love that thing. Love that thing. And the fact that it's got an AMC motor in it. You remember the old Gremlin ads? Hey, where's the rest of your car, toots? And the Gremlin's going to get the win here. Alan Cremo goes dead on 7 at 132 to win it. Dan Dobson had the reaction timer at 009, but he needed to pull the reins back a little bit. He goes 1086 at 124 miles an hour. Cremo wasn't exactly tardy at 027, but he runs dead 7, and Dan Dobson made a mistake at the finish line. This is T.J. Coleman in the left lane. Ryan Barnes in the right lane. Another teen out here battling it out, and that would be 18-year-old Ryan Barnes. A minute ago, we had an 027 light leave last and get the win. This time, we had an 042 light win on a hole shot. 1094 takes down a better but losing 1093 by 0.04 of a second at the stripe. Hey, you don't have to be great. Just got to be better than the guy in the other lane, or gal. Rudy Matthews left, and Kelsey Alexander right. Rudy is retired. He's just enjoying life and racing his way around, and Kelsey is a dog groomer. To get Fido ready for the prom. Well, you wouldn't send Fido to the prom without being groomed, would you? Come on, that's barbaric. That's ridiculous. That's 1096 to 1096. Rudy Matthews, 038 reaction time, giving him a 100th advantage. And he used that at the stripe to win a 1096 to a 1096 matchup. Jacob Rutledge in the Mustang. Out of Georgia, Trent Thomas in the Nova. Out of Florida. There's no real rivalry between Georgia and Florida, right? You guys all get together in football season, hold hands, sing Kumbaya. Remember the right place at the right time thing I was telling you about a minute ago? 007 just left second, but came out on the right side of the double breakout math. Trent Thomas wins it. Jake Rutledge was 003 taking 16th thou and running 1086. Thomas was 007, followed him across, but comes out on the right side of a double breakout at 1087. That's the little numbers falling your way. Les Harris now. In the Chevy, the truck. Stephen King in the Chevy, the Corvette. The windowless Corvette against the fully glassed-in truck. Wind light's going to come on for the truck, 1092 at 137 miles an hour. King had no room. Harris was better by 400ths on the reaction timer, then ran 1092. Stephen King had three options. He could get there first and break out. He could get there second and lose. Or he could get there second, break out, and lose. He had no option that would allow him to win the race. Kind of like when your wife's mad at you, you know, there's 3 or 4 different ways you can go, but it's not going to matter. You're not going to win. Randy Shipp and Scott Mackey, a battle of Chevrolets, red Chevrolets. Yeah, I have no experience in that area, but I also, since I am not a parent, I've never made a parenting mistake. Scott Mackey, the Babalu Chevy 2, and Randy Shipp in that absolutely beautiful Corvette. Now, that's a St. Louis-built Corvette. That's not a carbon copy. I think it has been modified since it left St. Louis, but you get the idea. Started life as a genuine, real car, and yeah, they were building them in St. Louis back then, not Bowling Green. Down to the stripe, this baby is all Scott Mackey. 10 on the tree, 91 on the track. And Randy didn't have a whole lot for that. Scott Mackey just put up a 22 thousandths overall package. Randy Shipp's light was 021. That's how big his window was to sneak through. He couldn't sneak through. 1093, 146 comes up short. 2 more red cars. This time it's a Ford versus a Chevy. It's Robbie Welsh in the Ford. And that thing's got a Ford motor under the hood. It's a 427. I don't know if it's an FE or if it's a stroker, but I think it's an FE. Well, that car back in the day, 66 Fairlane, could have come with a 390, 427 and bolt right in there. I don't think most of that car is stock, but, you know, could be. Looks like most of John Rollins' car is stock. It's got a small tire on it. It's got a 400-inch small block in it. We got a Maryland car this time on the left side and a Florida car on the right. We got a Ford and a Chevy. We got a Robbie and a John. We got a couple of green lights. That's a good thing. Green, good. That's why they both start with G. Red, bad. That's why they both have 3 letters. That's all I could come up with on short notice. 1094 to a 1094. And Rollins, 10.940, takes the measure of Robbie Welsh, 10.947. Rollins was also a 1.5 better on the reaction timer, so that played into the equation. Now it's Jesse McKnight with the small block. Chevy Camaro. Gen 4 over there on the left side, and Landon Neely, the 66 Nova wagon. Landon is 19 years old, and he's driving one of the family racers. When I was 19 years old, my dad wouldn't let me drive his old truck to the dump. Of course, I understand that Landon is a reasonably responsible, upstanding human being, and I was, well, trouble back then. Challenging. That would be the word today. I was challenging. 1093 to a 1093. Landon Neely had the better reaction time, and he gets the win at 125 miles an hour. Yeah, challenging. That was it. I remember my mom used to say, "You have so much potential." I finally realized what she told me is, "You're screwing up." Would have been easier if she'd have just said that. Anyway, Rodney Rudrick and Lauren Edwards. I know, all those years of therapy, right? And I'm still talking about it. Must have done something. Closing in down on the stripe. A 009 light and a 1092 was enough to get it done for Lauren Edwards. Rodney Rudrick goes 1101 and 116 miles an hour, and that ain't going to cut it. We should have our alcohol cars for round 2 making their way into the staging lanes now. Alcohol dragster and funny car semifinals. Come on down. Bring up Bob Fuller in the truck and Colby Fuller in the Camaro. I do not believe these two are related, but I don't know that for sure. Well, they're both named Fuller, and they're both out of Georgia. Colby, a college student sponsored by what I assume is a liquor store, George's Package Shop. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a shipping depot. Bob Fuller's been doing this forever and 3 weeks. But Bob Fuller's truck is no longer making noise. Colby needs to look over his shoulder, and he did. 11:10, 117 miles an hour for the win. Fuller had the reaction advantage by a hundo, but his truck went silent, and I'm not sure he's going to make it to that first gate. And oh yeah. So a tough break for Fuller, but he'll have another crack at it in his other car. Coming up in just a little bit. And we've got yet another truck, the one driven by Franklin DeBartolomeo. You notice, right, that everybody in the DeBartolomeo family races? I understand that Franklin went to his dad one time and he said, "But Dad, no, I want to play the trombone." His dad said, "Get a helmet and get in a race car." That's just all there is to it. Everybody around here races. Laurel Morris, part of Team Tank. I told you there was 3 of them. Tank, Tank, Tank. Well, Laurel's name was Tankersley before she got married. You guys knew that, right? I'm here to help. They bumped their way in. Ooh. Ooh. Anytime you're watching a heads-up super category, it looks like a bracket race and nobody's red. That's usually bad news for the car that moves second. No! Really? Franklin's truck goes 11:20. Slows down. He was 0-14 on the tree, looked like he was in charge, and then his truck let him down. Laurel Morris goes 10.92 at 136 miles an hour and gets the win. And this will be the final car in category. Vic Singer, who's got the solo run. As I see my alcohol cars are lined up back here ready to go. Odd number of cars in category. Vic gets the free ride. Hits the tree at 006. And hits the Lucas Oil scoreboard at 1086 at 131 miles per hour. All right, listen up in the pits. Oh, attention in the pits. Hopefully all of my alcohol cars are there for the semifinal. Stock eliminator. Left side of the ladder. Let's head this direction, please. Stock, left side of the ladder. Just a quick reminder, stock, and this also will go for top dragster, top sportsman, super stock. Anybody that's dialing in, please remember this is a left side racetrack. When you pull out of the staging lanes, our computer goddess is going to be looking at the left side of your car. If your dial is visible on the left side of your car, your chances of winning will go up exponentially. If she can't read your dial, I think her favorite number is 4.3. And unless you got a really fast car, you're going to be in trouble. So please be sure that your dial is clearly visible on the left side of your automobile. And left side of the ladder, come on down, please. We need you to the staging lanes. We're going to do a quick little shuffle out there with the tractor. A little inspection at the top end of the racetrack. Round 2 of the alcohol cars getting ready to come at us. We're about to crown our first finalists here momentarily in Alcohol Dragster and Alcohol Funny Car. I want to welcome everybody to an absolutely beautiful day here at Gainesville Raceway. Let's see, have we even made sea level yet? No, we are still operating 72 feet below sea level density altitude at 1:30 in the afternoon. I like it. Touching up the racetrack, getting our alcohol drivers strapped in and ready to go. They're going to be on the racetrack next. If you haven't yet got your Baby Gators shirt, get them. They showed up today, and they're really, really cool. The 2020 edition of the Baby Gators will continue on. Semifinals of alcohol cars next.
Lucas Oil proudly continues their support of Sportsman Racers in 2020 as a major NHRA contingency sponsor by awarding contingency payments on both their racing oils and transmission and differential gear oils at all NHRA National and Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events. Lucas Oil has made signing up for both contingency programs simple and easy. Visit a Lucas Oil representative at the track and purchase $100 in oil or $75 worth of transmission or differential gear oil per race car. Put that ride in the winner's circle at an NHRA national event and receive $300 to win and $100 runner-up. Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series winners receive $100 and $50 for runner-up. Better yet, sign up for both programs, make the final, and double your Lucas Oil contingency winnings. It's a win-win program from Lucas Oil, and program eligibility continues for 1 year from date of sign-up. New for 2020, Lucas Oil will have a representative at every Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series divisional and regional event all across the country, plus all 24 NHRA national events. Stop by the KJR Motorsports display on the Midway at NHRA national events to sign up with Kip or Cowboy, or look for the following companies at NHRA Drag Racing Series events. In Divisions 1 and 2, visit Jeff Kondratik of JKR Inc. In Division 3, sign up with Basil Race Fuels. Division 4, stop by and see Rick and Chase Huffman of Accelerated Graphics. In Division 5, visit Mike Hinch. Division 6, go to L&F Race Products. And in Division 7, see Les Figueroa of Fig Speed. Thanks for your support of Lucas Oil, and best of luck this season. Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Racers, when it is time for your next race trailer, built the way you want without compromise, look no further than Vintage Trailers. Troy Stone and the entire Vintage team has been in the custom race car trailer business for over 27 years, and for over 22 years racing alongside you using the products they build and sell. Vintage Trailers can put you in exactly the right equipment, whether it's with living quarters, bath facilities, traditional rig, or a stacker. With over 24 designs in-house or built to your specifications. No matter what the need for you, your team, or your entire race operation, Vintage Trailers has what you need. Just look for the slime green rig at the next race to see the quality, vintage manufactured custom stacker, or check them out on the web at vintagetrailers.com. Vintage Trailers, quality by design.
Hey, for those of you that are here, while it's quiet, before they roll them around and fire them up, I want to give a little tip of the cap to Annie Whiteley and her team. Kind of embarrassed that I missed it earlier. In qualifying, they ran the third fastest speed in the history of alcohol funny car. They, oh, by the way, also have the fastest and second fastest. And then in round number 1 earlier today, Annie Whiteley ran the fastest speed ever run by an alcohol funny car and set the national record at 276 miles an hour and change. Congratulations to that team down there. And they may not be done yet. That car is notorious for running big speed out the back end of the racetrack. As I'm sitting here looking at my top 10 list of all time, as of right now, 8 of the top 10 all-time fastest speeds are Annie Whiteley's, including the all-time best that happened earlier today. Show off. I think they might be putting some of those peanut butter bars like in front of the crew chief going, okay, run big speed and you get one of these, because let me tell you, that'll work. That would work. First pair rolling around the corner, it's going to be Jackie Frick and Rich McPhillips as soon as they get them plugged in. All right, plugging in the warm-up tanks. Taking the blankets off the front that insulate the fuel tanks. I know the vast majority of the folks here are hardcores, but for those of you who are not, the reason you see that is simple. Cold fuel is more dense and it'll make more power. And there is a minimum temperature for the fuel in these cars. If you pull up in the staging lanes, they check the fuel temperature, and it's too cold, you're done, period. That's it, game over. So the teams will chill the fuel to an acceptable temperature and then put a blanket on the front of the car to insulate it before they fire them up. This helpful tech tip brought to you by dragracer.tv. Jackie Frick went to the final a week ago down at No Problem Raceway. Came up on the short end of a Rachel Meyer matchup. And she is trying to go to her second final round for Rich McPhillips. Has not spent a lot of time in the cockpit of the car. He has definitely spent a lot of time on the starting line watching his dad, as well as watching Troy the last couple of years. What a feather in his cap it would be if he can find his way into the final round here. And then after that, hey, who knows, right? We got 3 injected nitro cars and 1 with a blower belt. To get this all figured out, we'll see the blower belt here in just a moment. So a little he said, she said going on here with she in the left lane and he in the right. .526, 276 miles an hour. Jackie, 528, 271 miles an hour. Rich McPhillips. Rich looked like he might have had a cylinder out down there a little bit before the finish line. A little raw fuel coming out of the right side of the car. But Jackie goes to the second consecutive final in 2 weeks. 5.260, 276 miles an hour. So a 25 in the first round, a 26 in the second round. And we'll know here momentarily who her final round opponent will be, as the John Fink team goes down to retrieve their driver. That's the blower car. You could hear the vast difference in tone. Now listen to the injected nitro car. Jackie just earned her way into the money round at the regional event for the 13th time in her still fairly young career. Will she race the #1 qualifier, Josh Hart? Or will she race Tom Fox? I am looking at Josh Hart's car, and something looks really not good there. Looks like there's some liquid down on the racetrack out in front of the car and maybe alongside the car. They don't look too panicked, but The tech guys are taking a real close look at that. I'm not sure if that all came out of the headers. I mean, at this point, I'm wondering if there might be some dampness on or under those big Goodyear slicks in Josh Hart's car. I can tell you this, if there is, it won't bother Tom Fox any, because he expects to be getting out of Dodge in a hurry. Fox that goes up in smoke. It's Fox that goes up in smoke, and right to the stripe is Josh Hart. That definitely looked a little bit odd on the burnout in the backup, but a 522 at 276 miles an hour. And Josh Hart is going to try to pick up a trophy here at the Baby Gators before he goes next week and climbs in a top fuel car. 14:34 for Tom Fox at 52 miles an hour after running career best numbers earlier in the day. They overpowered it right there, and he looked just a tad out of sync in the staging process. He rolled in and lit that second bulb before he revved the motor up, and I don't know if that kind of threw him off his game or what happened, but one way or another, Fox went up in smoke, and it'll be Josh and Jackie for the trophy in Alcohol Dragster later on today. And now, it's funny cars. Or, for those of you who speak French, Les Automobiles de Haha. Annie Wiley, the fastest funny car ever, period, with alcohol in the tank. And Doug Gordon. Got a little one car, two car, red car, blue car thing going here. Got a Colorado, California thing going here. Well, when it comes to drivers, we've got one from Colorado, one from California, make that one from Colorado, two from California, and one from either Sweden or Indianapolis, depending on how you keep score. When it comes to car owners, we got one from New York, one from California, one from Colorado, and one from Oregon. Beta Motorcycles joined up with the Gordons. Watch Mike Gordon, who's out in front of the red car. There's a ritual that he always uses to get his kid pumped up when he's going into racing. Watch. Oh, come on, Mike. It's a girl. It's a girl. Annie Whiteley, number one qualifier, new speed record holder of the blue car for Why Not Racing, and Doug Gordon, the Beta Motorcycles red Chevrolet. Annie Whiteley smokes the tires, and Doug goes 547 at 270 miles an hour. So Doug Gordon will run for the trophy. And Annie Whiteley, 1370 at 81 miles an hour. I am quite surprised. You can see there's a lot of respect between the two teams down there. A handshake from Team Red to Team Blue. Annie goes 1370 after she just annihilated the tires when she swapped feet. So that will put Doug Gordon in the final round. 5.479. Wow, is that right? Doug Gordon, 49th career final round? Holy smokes. Wow. That's a lot. All right, here comes the champ, Sean Bellemere, and the former champ, Johnny Lindbergh. Bellemere, Bartone, Steve Boggs out in front of the car, the matte black Redline Oil, Hussey Copper machine. Roger Dean here in Florida has been a backer of Bartone for quite some time. And as a matter of fact, that was Tony just walked over left side of the car, taking a look inside, going, okay, it's got oil pressure, we're good to go. And Johnny Lindbergh driving Brian Haug's car. Winner gets Doug Gordon. Winner better run somewhere in the 40s. That looked like a pedal job for Johnny Lindbergh, and that looks like a win light for Sean Bellemere. 554, 269 miles an hour. If it matters, Doug Gordon will have lane choice in the final. Lindbergh goes 583 at 259. You saw him have to pedal that thing about 150 feet out. Sean didn't exactly make a perfect run, but you just got to be better than the guy in the other lane, and he was. So at 5.545, Sean Bellemere will make it to the final round, where he will race Doug Gordon. Stock eliminator, left side of the ladder. Hopefully you guys are all getting paired up and pulling forward, please. We'll have them rolled out here momentarily, and then we'll call the rest of you. But left side of the ladder for stock. If you're back there in the lanes, let's get with your date and pull forward, please. So Sean Bellemere trying to kick off his title defense with a win. Listen up in the pits. Attention in the pits. Stock eliminator, right side of the ladder. Come on down. That would be all of you. Stock eliminator. Stockers to the lanes, please. As soon as we get a few pairs matched up, we'll start racing them for real. Handicap start. It's going to be fun. Stock eliminator. Need you to lane. Super comp. You're on deck. Be ready. Hey, stock eliminator, for those of you in the back of the staging lanes, if you've got your opponent figured out, let's go ahead and pull forward, please. We've got a whole nother fleet of stalkers coming in behind you. We'll put a little sticky stuff out there, and then we'll be ready to go. Here we go. This suits the baby gators.